This video is titled, Remember This Bodybuilder Boy? This is how his life turned out. Now, I think I've seen this kid before, but there's another kid. I think he was known as Little Tarzan. He was like this young bodybuilder, and then it showed him later on, and he wasn't as muscly. He just looked like a normal dude. But this kid, like, seriously looks like he's on steroids. I hope no one's giving him steroids, because how can a little kid look this ripped? I don't think it's good. I heard when you're young, you're not supposed to lift weights when you're a kid. I don't know, but this kid looks like he's on steroids and he's like 8 years old or something, so let's see how his life turned out.
Hello, friends. I'm sure you've heard about this little boy, and maybe you've even seen his photographs. Many years have passed since his peak of popularity.
I remember him.
The media has been quiet about the boy for a while now, although I'm sure that many of you would like to know how his life turned out because the boy's tricks amazed even adult athletes. So in today's video, I will tell you what happened to the boy over the years and what he looks like at 17. The little boy's name is Giuliano Stroe. In 2009, Giuliano was only 6 years old. It was then that his popularity reached its peak. Social networks and the internet made this kid a star. He was invited to various TV shows and programs, and the entire speaking internet discussed the way he looked.
It looks like he's on steroids.
Giuliano was born on June 18, 2004, in Romania. At the age of 5, the little bodybuilder was listed in the Guinness Book of Records for incredible strength and coordination. In 2009, he was named the strongest boy in the world. The gorgeous muscles and overall fitness of the 6-year-old boy caused amazement and admiration. The little bodybuilder set the world record for the fastest ever 10-meter hand walk with a weight ball between his legs, and he did it in front of the cheering audience of an Italian TV show. The next morning, Giuliano woke up famous. He became an internet sensation. Hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world admired the child's abilities. A year later, the boy set another world record for the number of 90-degree push-ups, which are done without letting the feet touch the ground. He set the record at 20 push-ups, beating the previous record of 12. The talented gymnast and bodybuilder has many other accomplishments. Among them, human flag pull-ups, 31 times. 90-degree push-ups on 2 rings, 10 times. Handstand push-ups, 40 times.
40.
These impressive achievements are the result of persistent training over several years, working with his own and additional weights. The most muscular child bodybuilder was incredibly popular in Romania. The young athlete began training at the age of 2. He attended
2 years
the gym
old and
together
he's training?
with his father Julian, a former gymnast, and also worked out at home. The boy trained hard, doing gymnastic and weightlifting exercises. His parents dreamed that Giuliano would develop superpowers. They always emphasized that excellent genetics was one of the main components of his success. Training from an early age laid the foundation that developed their son's talent and contributed to his dizzying achievements.
Interesting.
In 2010, Giuliano made the headlines. Intensive workout of a small muscular man caused a mixed reaction in society. Critics were outraged by the many hours the child spent training and lifting the heavy loads inappropriate for the unformed child's body. They claimed that the father was putting Giuliano at risk of serious injury. Society was stirred up by the photographs in which the boy was balancing on 2 bottles, leaning only on his hands. The stunt caused outrage among many netizens because they considered it to be extremely dangerous. Another reason for criticism was that the father always made the boy pose for the cameras. There were also accusations that the father was doping the child's food to increase muscle growth. While other children were enjoying their carefree childhood, little Giuliano trained hard and broke world records. When making videos and commenting on his son's achievements, the father repeatedly noted that the boy enjoyed his training and spent a lot of time outdoors, watching cartoons, and playing with friends, and that no one was forcing him to train. Moreover, he said that Giuliano was getting regular medical checkups. Interestingly, Giuliano's younger brother Claudio began training at an even earlier age. Claudio skillfully performed splits on metal rings and reverse somersaults. The Strohe brothers became real stars and were often invited to various shows. To develop and maintain muscle strength, the boys trained with 4-kilogram dumbbells and lifted weights heavier than their own bodies. Their pages on social networks were as famous as they could be in those years. However, interest in the brothers subsided over time. But now many online publications exploded with news about Giuliano and Claudio again. Although the boys still exercise regularly, their appearance has become more natural. The former incredible shape and quality musculature are now gone. The children now look adequately for their age. They no longer stand out among their peers in any way. After 2009, when Giuliano reached the peak of his popularity, there was news about him for several years. But then, pictures of the completely different Giuliano got leaked online.
I think their muscles got smaller.
Large muscles, but he did have an obvious problem with obesity. Pictures with the heavy Giuliano provoked a bunch of rumors that the boy had serious health problems.
Obesity,
they talked about heart problems in particular. There was no clear evidence on the internet, but there were no denials either.
You're not supposed to do that when you're young.
Didn't comment on the situation, why many theories arose online. Giuliano Strohe is now 17 years old. The father has introduced the brothers to boxing. He hopes that this new direction will also bring success to his sons. The guys don't just work hard on their striking techniques and participate in sparring sessions, but also continue to work out at the gym. They also take part in various local competitions. Giuliano rarely travels to competitions because traveling to and living in another city is quite expensive. The guy tried to make money selling his old equipment, gloves, paws, helmet. And he did, but the price had to be reduced significantly compared to the initial one. The Strohe family clearly has financial problems. Some videos show that the family lives rather poorly. Apparently, the father of the family was unable to monetize his son's popularity when it was at its peak. Mr. Julian trades in scrap metal to provide a decent living for his family.
How are you broke?
The boy's father dreams of moving the family to the UK to find higher-paying jobs and sponsors for his sons.
You think they would have made a lot of money?
He also runs a YouTube channel and shares his son's achievements on Facebook. The father only talks about the athletic successes of the brothers on their YouTube channel and the official Facebook page. Meanwhile, there is no information about their studies or what they plan to do with their lives. It is clear today that many people believed that the once worldwide popularity of the boys would bring considerable benefits to their family. Sure, even YouTube wasn't as commercially successful in the early 2010s as it is now, but the boys' potential, if presented properly, could have maintained their star status for many years. However,
it seems like they lost muscle mass.
Did see the YouTube channel as a source of income. Some videos on the channel don't just come out with advertisements, but are marked as paid content, although it is much more difficult to earn money this way nowadays. Sure, it would seem the question of who earns what should remain a private matter for each family. But this is an example of bad marketing, which shows how two guys who were world stars at one point are now forced to hold fundraisers to be able to travel even to local championships a few hours away by car or train.
Where'd the money go?
It's not about welfare, but about declining popularity and ineptly wasted media potential. Their story could have been completely different. It could have been successful, and it could have provided them with the means for their development. It's quite possible that the boys, who clearly have great genetics, would have had more funds to use for their development, maintaining proper nutrition, training and performing in championships. But the fact is that the family is facing significant financial difficulties. Friends, that's all for today. Let us know in the comments what you think about the changes in the lives and the looks of the Strohe brothers. First thing we'd like to know is what you think of Giuliano. Since back when the boys were little, he was more muscular, prominent, bigger and stronger than his brother, and accordingly attracted more attention. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.
So yeah, I kind of figured like as they got older they would lose their muscle mass, which is what happened with the Tarzan kid. You know, I don't think that's right. You know, a kid that young getting pushed that kind of training, that's like I think you should at least hit puberty first, right? Get your hormones and your testosterone pumping and going. They're just kids. So yeah, I could see how their body could be messed up in the future from this. Heart problems, like it said. Muscle mass, not as much. So, and if they're broke, don't you think they'd get a lot of money from all this? Maybe they went on a spending spree and just lost it all. I don't know, dude. It's just weird putting a kid through something like that young. Which reminds me, have you guys heard of, I think it was a 2 or 4-year-old boy. His father used testosterone cream, I think. It was like a cream, I think testosterone cream. His dad would rub it on him, and then he'd hold his son, and the cream like rubbed into the young boy's body, and he began to early puberty. Like he started growing pubic hair and like armpit hair at like 4 years old because his dad's testosterone cream was rubbing off on him, and he started growing faster. And it's just so weird, dude. A 4-year-old getting testosterone already, and he started growing hair, and who knows what that kid's going to look like when he's older. Maybe his dad should keep the cream away from his young kid, you know. Go through puberty a natural way. You hit 13 years old, usually is when it starts. I don't know, this whole story is just bizarre. Get a little older before you work out. Thanks for watching. If you did, peace out.